Hello, everyone. Hope you guys had a great day trading today. I just wanted to do a trading day recap and talk about my disgust in missing the amazing moves this
200 EMA
morning.
process.
Oh my gosh, I I really wasn't prepared for the drop, the downside move. Honestly, I don't think I was really biased, but by the time I realized that the drop was coming, it was already pretty much too late to get in. I did scalp some Apple um, with the drop. I Let me pull up my Apple. I decided that hey, it was just kind of going and not stopping, and so I figured, hey, I'm just gonna hop in it, and if it goes against me, I'll just get right out. But so I so I did that, and I got in. I think like right here. Had a little pullback right as I got in, of course. But I got this drop and it wasn't that much. I think I made $112 scalping Apple. I really missed everything. Today was a an incredible day to make a lot of money. I did okay. I made 1400, but I honestly it's kind of a bummer. Kind of a bummer. It's one of those days that you could have, if I had seen it coming, but I didn't. I didn't trade. I got caught in one trade, so I sat in that, and that caused me to miss some others. That's just the way it goes, some days you just don't catch it. And unfortunately for me, today was one of those days I did not catch a lot of it. I did get some good SPX trades, didn't manage them great. I did have an issue. I was trying to do a limit stop, and for whatever reason, TOS messed up with me today, and it wouldn't accept my stop. I was just gonna run my stop up. I was up. I think it was this trade. Yeah, it was this trade. I was up over $800 on this trade, and I was just putting a stop limit on my active trader at around 600. So I was like, if it comes back to 600, I'll be happy with that. I was just gonna let it just keep going down and moving like every 200 down, manually below it, or up on the active trader. And I ended up, believe it or not, it wouldn't. It kept on telling me it couldn't do it, couldn't do it. So by the time I was like messing with that and got around to hitting my sell button, I actually ended up losing money on this trade. I was at I think $100 loss, $150 loss, which was insane because I was up $800, and it wasn't like it had just moved a ton. It just only took like one candle, and it was and that was that. It just boom took me out, and I ended up dropping to like $150 loss. And I did get back in on that same options contract, and I was able to make up that 150 plus 40 on another, just a quick scalp. Um, and so the trading SPX today, or SPY, I typically trade SPX. Man, just taking it right here would have been amazing. The strategy that I use, the LRC strategy, just it was a perfect setup. Uh, and for you guys that are new to, I added a version 4 now. I went from version 2 to version 3 to version 4. So version 4 now has extra, I only have 2 showing right now, but it has extra deviations now. So you can go out to 6 total deviations from the center out. I'm showing 4 out, 1, -1, -2, -4, -6. And the, I mean, this price coming down from this level and closing right here, this is the entry. It's just a no-brainer. That's the entry. If you're watching SPY, you get in right there, man, and you are sitting pretty on the day with just one SPX. You'd be up probably over 1,000, maybe $2,000 down here, maybe even more. I mean, these things were printing today. So I missed that. I did catch some other really good trades. I got a couple. As you can see, I did 260, 270. This should have been 800. All of these could have been a bunch more. I kept trying to get more, and I've been doing that lately. And I today it looked like I was going to be able to allow it to keep moving, and just catch the whole trend, but it didn't work that way. I did catch a couple of the upside moves. I got in here on this at this point. I got all the way to the top, and I think that was the 390. Um, I also got in on, where was the next trade? It was pretty good. Oh, it was right here on this pullback. So I did get in on I took this trade right there, and it was just perfect. I went up and I exited for a $400. I only had one call in that, so easy trade to recognize, easy trade to get in. Very tight stop. Made it very nice because this candle was literally right here, so I took it right above that candle. I love when that happens because that makes my stop loss extremely tight, so very low risk when trading. When trading SPX. A lot of opportunities out there today. I am in a swing trade. I don't know how it's going to go for me. I got into SMCI early. I could have made about $700 actually on this push, but when it came down, I decided that I went back and I did some charting. This is a long ways down. So my max loss, I think, is going to approximately be like $1,600 if I lose it all. I have until October the 4th. I did come up a little bit here. I don't like what's happening after hours today. So I'm hopeful that this turns and goes up. I'm in pretty heavy on this swing trade. So the good thing is my max loss is only, I'll have to look at it. I believe it's only like 1,600 is my max loss. Um, so not the end of the world. I don't like to give away or lose that much money. So I'm hoping that after hours I get a nice push up. I was really expecting SMCI to get bought up today because it was had a 10-to-1 split, so the cost was really low, and that was just maybe a poor judgment on my part. I really thought that that would encourage more buyers to step in to buy the stock, and apparently that it kind of happened, and then it died. It went down with the rest of the market. It tried to come back some. I was really hoping to get over this 41. That's a level I wanted to see it get over for more upside. So we'll see. I'll let everyone know how that goes tomorrow. Hopefully I don't end up with a $1,600 loss. That would suck, but that's part of trading that we, sometimes we have to take those chances. This one was probably not the smartest because it was really only based on the stock split and not off levels. I literally got in thinking, okay, people are going to start buying SMCI, so um, probably the wrong assumption, but we'll see. I will definitely post what my wins or losses are by the 4th. So I'm going to hold this, and if it goes all the way against me, then it'll be around a $1,600 loss. But outside of that, looking at other stocks today, I mean, you could practically pick anything and you could have just been, holy cow. Look at this. Tesla went through all of its levels, which was quite incredible, just straight through them. Um, Very, very interesting, especially because Tesla's been a little bit strong as of late. It's been, pretty or it seems like it's had some strength, and it was building a nice momentum to move, to change its direction to the upside, and then this happened. I mean, this was a major drop, and then it basically made it almost all the way back up. Yeah, it's sitting above 61.8. It's actually back below it now, but I'm assuming we're going to have continuation up. Again, we'll just trade price action. I really try not to ever be biased. I've not found that to be a uh, a good thing. Trying to see if my YouTube video is working. Why does a good thing? Well, I'll have to change the icon. I'm having the worst time doing the if my YouTube video. Sorry, I'm hearing myself talk. Yeah, I'm having the worst time with my YouTube videos. For whatever reason, it's supposed to start automatically, and each time it isn't. So I have to figure out what I'm doing wrong with OBS. I'm new at this at doing that, so it was supposed to auto start. But anyhow, Tesla would have been a perfect, easy trade today, guys. Hopping in, you could right here was your entry, perfect entry. You get your candle up, gets pushed back down. Entry is right here. The close below, or the move below the close. I mean, and even right here would have been an indication to add when you get these wicks down off of the 20, the 200, the red LRC line. That's where I would add. So if you're trading this strategy, just a perfect easy setup. You could scale out at the levels, scale out at the 258 if you want, hold runners, scale out at 255, hold runners. You could get out on the second green, re-enter on the red, and just, man, could have been amazing. I didn't catch that today. Like I said, I missed a bunch. Kind of a bummer looking back at it. There were so many good opportunities today. Um, Even TSM out of the gates. Hopefully you guys caught some. If you guys did well, caught the early moves. Um, if there's, I don't know how many viewers I have, but if you're watching it, just post in the chat. Let me know if you guys caught that. I missed it. It was really kind of interesting. Just I got caught up in this other trade, and I guess it just got away from me. And then once it started moving, I was concerned about chasing, because you know what happens if you chase a runner. You end up I typically always get it at the end of the run, and then I take a loss because it turns around right when I get in. I did get lucky with Apple, but it was a quick scalp. It was only $112, so still worked out. I'm just actually kind of looking around at different stocks today, seeing what I missed, and if anyone wants me to look at anything, just let me know. You're in my Discord. What are you trying to say? Um, no, I didn't get Microsoft. No, I didn't get Microsoft either. I mean, if you're watching my live stream, look at this. Just, man, it was such an easy trade. Easy trade. You get your close below right here, below the yellow LRC. You take the next candle, and that's it. You're off to the races. You scale out or take everything off if you want to. 'Cause you'd be up a lot. Scale out here though, hold, come down, get two consecutive green candles, exit right here, wait for a pullback, re-enter, hold, wait for the pullback, add, keep going. You don't get above the 20 and just hold until you get two more consecutive greens down there and exit. This would have been a little tough. You probably would have been shaken out here, but if you trade the strategy, the way I do, now these are my rules, is use a 20 EMA as your guide. So you catch as much as you can. I only exit, or I try to keep it until I get two consecutive red closes. If you're in a down, I'm sorry, two consecutive green closes in a downtrend above the 20. So you wouldn't have got that anywhere except for here. That would have been your actual exit. You could have got out down here. This is a long LRC. Um, if you don't have that on your chart, I have them on my charts. And when I see price bounce off of that, I realize that that's a pretty big channel. That it's incredible. So if you haven't used the long LRC, I'll show you what and how I use that. Let me go to a clean chart. Do not know why I still have that. So I typically start with a 1 hour chart time frame, and I use the linear regression tool. I use the linear regression tool, and you can see it right here. This one looks like it's on a longer time frame. So basically, I'll go in, maybe I have it on a 4 hour. I do 4 hour, 1 hour. It depends on which one works the best. Sometimes 4 hours the best. Sometimes it's best to go down to 1 hour. I do like drilling down or going to a lower time frame because it allows me to get probably a little bit more nuanced with the best sometimes. With the pivot point. So the way I set this up, and I'll just delete this and I'll show you how I do it. It's pretty simple. It is somewhat subjective. You can do it yourself, mess around with it, but it's extremely important in my opinion. So I use the linear regression tool right here, and I will just start at basically a pivot point. It doesn't typically always end on the pivot point. So what I'll do is I'll grab the node. Oh, and if this is your first time watching, here's the settings for the regression channel. I have minus 0.5, 0.5, minus 1.5, minus 1.5, minus 2, 2, minus 1, and 1. You can just take a snapshot of that, rewind or whatever, and go pull this part up and go back. And so that, yeah, I mean, you can change those to whatever you want and how you would like to set them. I just find that these are really the best for me and the way I trade them. But basically, I just move this until you see the pivots happening. You can see this came down, pivoted off the bottom, the outer channel, came down here, pivoted right off of this channel, this line here. Same up here. Once it got to this one, came straight down. Once it got above this, a lot of times you'll find consolidation. You can notice that it went here, down here, there, and it used this as support and resistance, and then it turns it into support once it gets above, consolidates, and then goes. And so basically all I do is I will move these until I get where the pivots are hitting on what I'm going to say, or the lines are hitting on key pivot points. Sometimes you're not going to capture everything, but you have to you want to try to capture the most practical and the best areas of pivots, like your strongest pivots, your biggest ones. Sometimes you're in between chop, just don't worry about that. Just, it's going to happen. In all actuality, these are probably, if you go back, if you change this and do 0.5s in between all of these, that's where these are going to pivot. I don't want to be that nuanced or that close. And then I'll go down to a 1 hour, and I may not have enough time. Yeah, I do. And then I want to see how these candles are actually pushing off of these levels. So this looks pretty good for now. And the great thing about it is if you look at cues, let's see if we had it happen today on a 2 minute. Yeah. So when you're trading during the day, this is what you'll see on the 2 minute. You have to remember it's a level. You can't consider it just a line. You have to consider it a level. Um, so when my chair is moving back. So when it gets around it, just watch what price action does. In this case, you might get fooled and say, "Hey, this is breaking and going through." What makes these really powerful is this is the other side of it, right? So once it breaks through here, if this came back up, retested, and started going down, your real target is either going to be this is a 20 daily SMA on this particular on Qs. It would be that or all the way to the blue. So whenever you get through these levels like this, flushed right through, this is my mean or the midline, this flushed right through. If you get a move up off of it, you can look to trade back. They don't always get back to it, but it kind of gives you a good like a large target. In intraday trading, my LRC that I typically use, the Anchored LRC, that gives me the smaller range, so you can then have both. There's many stocks that I will have. Let's see if I can find one. I'll have several. Let me just zoom out real quick. I'll have several long LRCs. Sometimes I'll do super long, which is back almost a year or 6 8 months, just depending on pivot levels. And you would be surprised how well they play a factor in everyday trading. Like this one's back a pretty good ways. You can see it did flush through this bottom level here, but made it back up, came back down, retested, made it back up, came to here, went up to this one, and it just does it all the way across. It just gives you excellent levels. Of course, this looks very messy because I've got different support resistance levels, that I'm using for intraday. But when I go down to a 2 minute, this all goes away. It goes. You have quite a range to trade to on the 2 minute. This was interesting today. So I thought my expectations was this gap that we have down below. Since I'm on Qs and looking at it, when I was watching Qs today, I really thought that it was going to, at this point, come and just fill this gap. I really thought we were going to fill the gap. So what we may be prepared for tomorrow or the next day may take a couple days, but I could see this is a pretty significant gap right here. It is 478 to 471.25. I could see us getting, now we have to get through the 20 daily to finish filling it. And they don't always fill, right? But a lot of times once you fill these big gaps, then you get your move back up. So maybe in the next couple days we can look for that gap to fill. That would be a really nice trade. Although, I mean, this was today's move down, so this was already this much, so it's not like it can't do it again. We did make back about half of our day, but looking at that, we only went up just above 50% and came back down. So we are below, we are using our fibs, and to me it looks like if we have continuation down, that this was the retest area, and we're going to keep going down. But we will see. Again, I won't start my day biased. I'll just trade what the market gives me. So let me move on. Hopefully you understand I wanted to see if I could find you guys a long LRC. Maybe I have it on NVIDIA where I have several. Let me make this wider. Okay, so this one I have two. So I have one that goes all the way back in December, to now, right? And then I have one that goes from just around this high pivot in on 6/11, whatever that date is, 6/20 actually. So it's around that area, and then it comes down with the new like downward trend. And if you look at, again, I know it looks really messy, but when I zoom out, it's not so bad. Some of you guys are probably like, it burns. But so and also the way I manage these is once we break out, it does a couple really good things. So like if we have a pretty significant trend, let's say we're watching this and it changes all the time. So let's just say we have our long LRC drawn in, or you have yours drawn in, and you're in a downtrend. It doesn't always do this, but it's really awesome to watch. A lot of times you'll get the huge moves down because you're in a downward slope. Of course, the longer term is in an upward slope, right? But your short-term trend, so from weeks back is, or I guess a couple months back, is on a downward trend. And what you'll find is all your moves, not all of, I shouldn't say all of them, a lot of your moves up are going to be more like consolidating slower moves. And then you get these boom, these big drops, boom, big drop, slow consolidation comes to this line, boom, big drop, consolidation, boom, big drop. This one actually had a pretty good move, but then it had another huge drop down. So one way to look at these is you can always prepare. If you want to be very patient, draw it, wait, and take a swing trade. Like you get into an area right here, you could take this move right here. Of course, you would have to hold this over several days to get the whole move. But a lot of, because this one actually hit it, what, 3, 4 times. Here, 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 and here. Also using these support levels, resistance levels. But look at the move once it finally took off. It's just straight down. Again, we kind of consolidate sideways. We get some ups and downs, midday. This is a 1 hour chart. And then once again, now here's why I do more than one. Look what happened here. This was the super long. It actually got through these, struggled at this 125 level, finally got through, retested, pushed up, hit the long LRC or the super long LRC, and then straight back down off of that. So really, really good tool. If you've never used it, I would suggest you put it on your charts. I have it on every one of my charts, every one of my stocks that I trade, because to me, it's absolutely incredible in how it gives you your support and resistance zones. It gives you great levels to trade to from and to. So like target levels, it also gives you entries if you want to use the long LRC. I was talking to the group the other day, yesterday. We had a live Q&A in the Discord, and I was talking to the guys. I was like, man, it's almost like we can just get rid, which I probably will never do that, of my support and resistance levels that I put in every morning. The my technical analysis in the Metal TA in our Discord. I put these in every single day for all the stocks we trade, quite a few of them. And we were just looking at how good the actual long LRCs are, as well as the Anchored LRC. It's almost like we can just get rid of that, trade the LRCs, and not even worry about the support and resistance levels, because these actually do what you need them to do in that regard. But I'll still probably keep drawing them in. So I think that is going to wrap it up. I wanted to see if there was. Oh, I want to look at AMD. I did not watch and see what happened with AMD today. I think it had the same results. So here's a long LRC. You can see rejecting these levels. Came right here, rejected these. This one kind of came through in the middle area. It hit the, this is a 200 daily SMA. Came down and hit the 200. just kind of was really crappy price action, but then today just dropped, the bottom dropped out of it as well. Came back up, hit the 200. So the 200 was support. Now it's resistance. You can look for that tomorrow. The 159.50 I had as a level. I may adjust that some based off today's moves, but it looks like that still, these did not hit on that, interestingly enough, on the 2 minute. Let me look at the 1 minute or the 1 hour. Yeah, still right in that area. You could probably have drawing a cloud from here to there. That's really what we're going to be looking at. Uh, so that's pretty much what we're going to be looking at for our area tomorrow. For if you trade AMD, you have the long LRC, and if you guys want to match this one, I may have to adjust it though. It doesn't look like it's super accurate. So let me do that real quick. I will adjust this one, and then I'll give you the parameters if you want to copy it. And I do this in my Discord to the members, so they're able to try to get exactly, but you don't really have to use what I'm showing. You can do this yourself. It's super easy. It is time consuming, but it's very much worth it. I do these every night and every morning. So I'll do some at night, and then I'll go back over and verify some moves and make sure that things look tidy, the next morning. So this looks pretty good. Let me see. I wanted to capture these moves right here. Okay, so that's pretty good. Look at how, so what I did is I noticed that this hit the mean, went up, consolidated on this one, dropped it, came down, hit this one, hit this one, went up again. It's really at it now. And this is kind of powerful also when you're trading using the long LRC and levels. When we have these two coming together, man, you can get a massive move where it gets above and then it just goes. Uh, but you have to be careful with AMD tomorrow. It may not be a great one to trade simply because this is my 200 daily SMA, 100 daily SMA, 20 daily SMA. These are dailies. These are not MAs. These are not like just moving average. These are daily moving averages. I If you would like those, you can get them in your own. They're in Thinkorswim. You just type in daily SMA right there, and then now this one that I'm using, I have it's one I just scripted myself. So it has all the 20, the 50, the 100, 200. You can change them and put the colors that you want on them or on them. So, and I have that available in my Discord channel. If you're interested, you're welcome to come by and grab it. Let's see, what else was I going to look at? I think I'm about finished. I looked at most of the trades. I looked at all my most all my trades, not all of them, but kind of bummed, man. Today should have been just an amazing day. Bummed that I missed all of it. This is the ES futures, and look at the levels, man. Came down. All of these levels are just spot on. Oh, I will show you one thing that I noticed on SPY today, and it helped keep me out of a trade. And again, it just comes back to using the long LRC. So intraday, while we were trading, I noticed that SPY kept coming down and it was getting below this long LRC. I think I moved it. Yeah, I moved it. I moved it earlier. So anyhow, it was it was further down here. I will have to adjust this again. Um, Matter of fact, I'll do that real quick. You can see what I do when I adjust them to make sure. I think I accidentally grabbed it and I did this and it pulled it completely out of where it was at. Okay, that makes a lot more sense, I think. There, right there. Go up to that one. Go back to those. Okay, so now let me go back to the 2 minute. Yeah, this is what I saw today. So when I was trading and I had traded, I got into, I think this was one of the ones I got in on my put and I got out like right here because I saw it hit the long LRC line. And these are just really respected. Can price fly through them? Sure, but look what happens. Look what happened when it went through. It actually came down, pushed up, came down, tested it, and finally broke through. Then you get a retest of it, which is pretty incredible. So it's just like a major level, right? You get a retest, you can enter again, and this went right through the 568 like it wasn't even there. But then here's the crazy thing. I may have to adjust this level too now. It just went back and forth through this all day, but look where it stopped. Long LRC, went up to this one and back down. So tomorrow we may channel trade. So just things to consider, think about, when you're trading. Look at this coming back down, possibly hitting this, and if it gets below it, then we're going down to the next one, right? For the most part, a lot of times if you get below these, you want to get a retest. I would not, I mean, you could try taking a breakout. If you take a break through this level, no, not a big deal. Take it, but that needs to be your stop out so that you get out immediately. So say you take a breakout here, if this starts going down, then it just pops back up. I would exit. I would wait for, and if I take a paper cut, I don't care because sometimes, man, you get a huge move up and you take a massive loss. So just the way I trade it, and just some advice whenever you're taking breakouts. If you're going to do a breakout trade, either you do a breakout and put your stop at the at the low or at the high candle, which sometimes can be quite risky because you're really getting down quite a bit. If that's the way you trade and you can manage that much risk, then do that. It's actually better. It gives you a little bit more room so that you're not getting stopped out and you still get the move. Because remember, it's not a line, but you would think that that line is like finite, but it's not. You got to think it's wide, right? It's a wide area or a wider area. So you have to give it some room. You want this to get down below, come back, retest, and then get confirmation of a drop before before you enter. That's the conservative way to trade it. So tomorrow you could get that. You could get it pushing back up, and then if it regains the 568, back up to the 570. Or we may just get continuation and down to the next level, and I'll zoom out so you can see that. The next level is all the way down here, and then the 20 EMA is below, 20 daily SMA. So I want to show you this. So here I'm going to give you the parameters. These are the parameters for, this is for SPYs, the long LRC. So if you guys want to copy what I have and put it on your charts, feel free to do so. Now you can do it. You may even make it even better. Just take some time, move it around until you feel like you're capturing the best pivots. That's really, really, it's like I said, it's subjective. You can make it, you can actually move it all over the place and grab different variants of pivots that you can't in other areas. But I try to get the bigger drops so it's I feel like it's more meaningful, and it does tend to work really well. So here's how you do it. This isn't necessary. Well, you want to set your linear regression tool up like this. Colors don't matter. That's up to you. But the length is 2,897. That'll work itself out when you put in these parameters. Unfortunately, TOS doesn't let you put this in manually. So your end point, you're gonna have to you're gonna need to move your end point until you get to this, get as close as you can um, to this. Now up here you can type in or use the calendar and then put in the time, and that'll put you at exact begin point, and then you just have to move the end point to this area, which is 10/1/24 at 3:15 a.m. And you, again, you don't have to be exactly 3:15 a.m. You'll see as you move it, you'll notice, you'll understand that it doesn't have to be an exact level. So anyhow, guys, hopefully that was helpful. If you guys have any questions, please ask. Otherwise, I will be um, heading out. I just wanted to go over today's recap and show the all the wonderful trades that I missed, unfortunately. Hopefully, you guys caught them. Alrighty. Well, guys, thanks for watching. If you don't mind, hit that like button, subscribe if you'd like to see more content, and I hope you guys have a good evening, and hopefully you guys are all green, and I will see you on the next video. You guys have a good night.